seems normal in my head, but when I say it out loud, I can feel it almost like in slow motion, being like, what you're saying is very not right. I don't know, it was like, is that how everyone sees me? Like, is that how I look to everybody? 'Cause it was like, I can't believe I'm in front of people right now. That's how I look. And it made me feel like I gave up on my body by trying to get better. Like, it was like a very negative thing. Like, it was kind of like, I don't want to get better if that's how I'm going to look, because I don't want to look like that. That was my first thought. And then I started crying.
Look at how innocent I look here. I was just like, you have no idea what's going to happen. Tricked everybody. My dimples.
I just want to hide my stomach.
Why do you want to hide your stomach?
Because I don't want him to be on like, I don't like my stomach. I don't like my legs. So can you tell me if you see my legs? Can you see my legs?
Why don't you like your stomach or your legs?
Because I don't think that they look nice. And when you're on camera, it just makes everything look bigger. So.
Why do you feel like they don't look nice?
Because they used to be a lot more skinny and toned. And now they're just, they remind me of like tree trunks. Well, they used to be more skinny and toned like a few years ago.
Why was that?
Because I wasn't eating.
She ate quite a bit. I mean, she ate a variety of different foods. She ate meat, but then she turned into a vegetarian after a while. And then as that progressed, she turned vegan. And after that, it seemed like she wasn't eating any food at all.
We weren't very cool in school. We like constantly, every day at recess, we played, we would make up dances and stuff while everyone else, like literally everyone else in the class was playing like soccer, baseball. We were choreographing a dance.
In high school, Leah was a lot of fun, creative like she is now. She could be shy, but never was with her friends.
I feel like we were either hanging out all the time or one of us would piss the other one off for a bit and then we'd want nothing to do with each other for a little while.
But I would say it was probably grade 11 and 12 when I really started to notice particularly the body image issues start to emerge and affect Leah.
Before you notice, months have gone by. We'd say, why don't you eat? Well, I've already eaten. I'm going out to eat with my friends. I'm going to do this and that.
When your child or a young person or again a family member is not eating with you or you haven't seen them consuming food, then that's a red flag. And again, if there is, that isolation or if someone is showing sort of anxious behaviors or any sort of depression, and then of course weight loss, if you're seeing physical weight loss, then that is another red flag as well.
Maybe there's a part of you as a parent that think it's easier and you'll just agree, even though there's a part that thinks, I think something else is happening. This is why I didn't want to do this.
I never really put the pieces together until my mom seemed like distressed. I asked her what's wrong and she said we think Leah's anorexic.
I was anorexic as a teenager and my parents never knew. I don't think my friends knew. And I don't blame anyone. It was my doing, whether it was my surroundings that caused it. Ultimately, it was my decision to do it. So I understood a little bit of what she was going through, but there was still a part of me that felt bad. Was it my own things I said or did that brought this out in her? Could I have prevented it? Even though I know everyone is responsible for themselves, there is still a fairly large amount of parental guilt that sits there to think, that it's your fault.
Having an eating disorder is like having an abusive boyfriend, you think that they're there for you and you think that they love you and they're gonna make things better. But what they're really doing is manipulating you into thinking that everyone around you hates you and doesn't like you and doesn't think you're good enough. And so you start to think like you're not good enough for anything but that person.
I remember one time specifically, I had to go into a room, so I went in there really quick to find scissors, and I saw on the mirror, in like magic marker, there was like numbers like written, and they were like the low-ish 100s, and then I realized like those were like weight goals. But at the time I knew that lowest number on there wasn't a good number to have. So.
I started off with a bad case of bulimia. I started not eating and taking laxatives, and then it turned into like, well, now I need to go to the gym all the time. I would start to just chew food and then spit it into a bucket, or I'd chew it and spit it right directly into the toilet so that I wouldn't have to throw up or I wouldn't have to take laxatives. I would write my ideal weight on my hand. I'd draw like X's on it, or like write like fat. I would take a lot of diet pills, ephedrine and clenbuterol, which are really hard on your body. I remember being so mad that I had eaten, so I took my dad's hammer and I just beat my legs so that they would have bruises all over them, so that every time I looked at them, I would be like, well, that's what happened when you ate something.
I was confused because I didn't understand why. She seemed so popular, she seemed so happy, and then she would tell us things about how she hated everything and hated herself and was so miserable.
An individual that might be predisposed, is that type that maybe is a bit more introverted, or a bit more isolated, but also it can include people that are such high achievers. So in sort of the adolescent range, it's sometimes the young person that is like the top of their class and is a part of every group and sports group and is possibly the popular person in school. And with that comes the pressure of being that perfect person.
I think that it's low self-esteem and a way to control how other people see you, and also it just is a way of coping with other things.
It's like a leech, it just slowly sucks the life out of everything around her. Everything around Leah was just being drained of its life force, and it got to be really hard. Even though the signs were there, sometimes they're not as glaringly obvious then as it is now when you look back. Hindsight is everything.
I think that I felt a lot better than other people if I were to go a day without eating and I saw my friend eating. I would almost be like, I'm so much better than you because I can do this and I'm not eating. So basically, I have more self-control than you do.
It's a sneaky thing in eating disorder. It's very manipulative. It's also really smart.
I was manipulating people with a disease that I had, and I think that I thought that I could get away with it because they felt sorry for me. There's a lot of things that I want to do, and I do think about that. Like, I mean, if I get married, like, am I gonna not ever want to see the pictures? I'm not gonna be happy because I'm gonna be sitting there, like, thinking that I'm fat. Like, when, like, I don't want to think that.
being the best friend, it's a tough spot to be in because you don't want to say something and have her completely shut down, and you don't want to not say anything.
Oh, don't say this, you don't want to upset Leah. Okay, let's not talk about this in front of Leah. And finally we thought, too bad, Leah's going to have to sit down and listen to it, whether she likes it or not, because if we don't do anything, then definitely it becomes on us where we noticed it and we sat by and did nothing.
I was in my room like playing a game with a friend or whatever, and my dad came in and said like, Leah's gonna be home from work soon and we're gonna actually sit down, we're gonna talk to her.
My brother said, I need you to be better because I want to one day be an uncle.
Leah would always talk about like, oh, that's gonna be the name of my kid, or like something like that. Or she would always talk about like, when I have kids, we're gonna be doing this, and we're gonna be doing that, and we're gonna go here, and we're gonna do this. I remember thinking this. I don't remember if I said it to her at that time. I thought, how are you going to be able to give birth to a child when you're less than 100 pounds yourself?
I maybe like take a step back and look at everything that was happening, how it was affecting other people, and how it would later on affect me. I remember feeling like before, like, this is my life, I'm just gonna have to accept it. I'm never gonna be happy. I'm never gonna get the things that I want. Honestly, it just happened like this. I just like was like, why can't I have those things? I can, so I'm going to.
Looking back at everything that's happened, how do you feel about where you are now?
I feel like I'm at a really good place right now because I'm able to talk about it, and that's a big step, because before I wouldn't be able to talk about it, or I kind of felt like I was not sick enough to talk about it because no one would care. I want to use this as a positive thing.
I don't know, she was always like my sister. Like, I thought she was pretty and everything. Like, I thought like she's my sister. I just want her to be better. I want her to be healthier. Like, I didn't care what she looked like, I just wanted her to be healthy.
She fights for the underdog, no matter who that underdog is or what their cause is. And I just wish that for a time that she realized she was the underdog and she should have fought for herself. But she's doing that now, and I'm really proud of her.